get a roll call?
Councilmember Abdelgawad.
Here.
Councilmember Baker.
Present.
Councilmember Barber.
Present.
Councilmember Burke, absent. Councilmember Ingert.
Present.
Councilmember Forster.
Present.
Councilmember Holman.
Present.
Councilmember Townsend.
Present.
Mayor Turnbow, absent.
We have a quorum, and we'll have all votes as roll call votes tonight because Councilmember Ingert is joining us remotely. If everyone will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There are no presentations or personal appearances tonight, so we'll move to staff reports. Mr. Freeborn.
Thank you, Madam. I would ask Erica Hill to make a staff report for the City Clerk's office.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. Staff witnessed the annual destruction of city records on June 19th in accordance with the Missouri Secretary of State's office. A detailed list of those documents were disposed of is included in your council packets as Exhibit A and serves as the permanent record to comply with the Missouri Record Retention Manual and will be attached to the minutes of this meeting for historical purposes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hill. I would ask Mr. Kraft to make a staff report for Public Works.
Thank you, Mr. Freeborn, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. In addition to my written monthly report, I just want to report that we did complete some much-needed repairs on the end of 163rd Street. Of them had torn up for quite a while as part of the paving when we paved 163rd Street and Sunset over the past couple of weeks. I am back after an extended leave and have scheduled some meetings to get caught up with my staff this week, so I really don't have too much else to report, but I am available for any questions.
Okay. Any questions? Mr. Holman?
Thank you, sir. I was just curious. We had, I would say, relatively mild winter as far as precipitation, ice events, that kind of thing. But as we all know, the salt and then UV light take a toll on the pavement. I was just going to get your general assessment of what the condition of the roads were as we came out of the winter into the spring and the repair season this year.
I think everything's in pretty good shape. I mean, we've got just our typical mill and overlay program. We are seeing a little bit more patching required, mostly because, as you said, we had a mild winter and the freeze thaw tends to soften the subgrade a little bit more. So as part of the mill and overlay projects, we're seeing the need to do a little more subgrade patch correction as part of patching for the work.
That's what I thought. I thought I'd double check, sir. Thank you.
Other questions? Mr. Freeborn?
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. I would ask Mr. Mustine to make a report for Parks and Recreation.
Thanks, sir. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. We are in our big week of the year with our Spirit of America celebration this Friday night. So I would say that the majority of my staff and our time is spent on preparing Recreation Park and planning for that event. We're looking forward to a great event. Obviously, the weather's going to be cooperative in terms of sunshine, plenty of that. So we'll keep an eye on the rest of those things. But the event does start at 7 o'clock. The Clay Clear Band will be our entertainment this week. We have 10 food trucks plus our own concessions, so we've increased those over the past couple of years. They seem to be extremely popular, and we've also increased the number of the bounce house, the obstacles. We just beefed up everything and brought in more stuff, and we're going to relocate some things and make better use of our space at the park. We appreciate police department and all the volunteers that are going to come out and help us with parking, so we look to have a great event on Friday night. Also, just a quick note, as you go to Recreation Park this week, the construction fence was installed today for the expansion of the rack. Mobilization will begin obviously tomorrow and through the next week as construction begins, so that it shouldn't have any effect on our event Friday night, other than we just want to be out there and have everybody know that that's coming. And that concludes my staff report for this month.
Very good. Any questions? Ms. Forster?
Thank you. Who's in the dunk tank?
Various staff members that we don't like. And, our summer camp counselors are in the dunk tank, but we will take volunteers for anyone.
Well, and then I also was curious why we chose Friday over Saturday. I believe Belton's is Friday as well. So I didn't know.
Well, I will say first and foremost, we were there before Belton when we scheduled ours, and that's part of our contract to be on the Friday night, and Saturday is our backup rain-up day.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mustine. I'm going to ask for a dovetail off of that report from Mr. Murdoch relative to the weather and Friday night.
Mr. Mustine was humble in what they are trying to monitor. So we just wanted to let the council know that we are in contact with South Metro Fire as a result of what probably is going to be a red flag warning coming up here due to the dry conditions, the extreme heat that will be going on at the event. So we are going to have extra supplies on hand, including a cooling station with the command vehicle that will be out there as well. But we are going to be in contact with them throughout the week, including a meeting on Wednesday to confirm that it will be safe to have the event as a result of these incredibly dry conditions. As Mr. Mustine would tell you, the heat is one thing. It'll be also the wind is an issue with the heat, and so if it's not going to rain prior to there, we would actually hope that we don't have high winds as well. So we'll continue to watch that throughout the week. But we do have multiple preparedness measures through his department and then Mr. Baldwin, who will be doing that throughout the week to be prepared for Friday night.
Thank you, Mr. Murdoch. I would ask Ms. Harmer to make a report for communications.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. I really just have a question for you. We need to get a group photo. So would July 10th before the city council meeting, that's our regular city council meeting, the first one in July, work? If not, July 17th, are you all planning to be here? You could raise your hand or give me a yes. July 10th?
The 10th?
You'll already be a little bit dressier. That's a normal, a regular meeting. So if that works.
Works for me.
Great. Councilmember Ingert, does that work for you? Thumbs up? Or an
Yes,
unmute?
but
Okay.
if yourself on me, that'd be fine.
Okay, so July 10th, 5:30, let's do the Centerview steps because they will be in the shade, and usually we're fighting the sun every year. So, and then individual portraits, if you want them for Councilmember Baker and Ingert, or anyone that wants an update, just before here in the admin conference room, or as soon as we get done with the group photo at 5:30, we can sneak that in before the regular council meeting. Just let me know, or really anytime, because my stuff's already here, always here. So, all right, that's all I have for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harmer. I'm going to ask for a report from Mr. Gruss on tonight's agenda.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem and Council, no written report in the packet this evening, but I did want to provide a cautionary heads up. Items A and B under new business for this evening, 2 easement vacations within the Creekmore subdivision. 2 public hearings that were initially scheduled for this evening, but there was a staff oversight in sending out the required mailed notices to the property owners, adjacent property owners, for both of those applications. So staff took care of that on Friday and got the notices out, but we would ask that the council continue the public hearing for both of those items until the next meeting on July 10th to allow for those notices to get to the adjacent property owners. That will conclude my staff report.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Gruss. Next Monday, July 3rd, there will be no work session for the council as everybody psychs up for Independence Day, and wanted to conclude staff reports tonight by letting the council know that once again, one of our staff has received a somewhat prestigious honor. City Clerk Erica Hill has been recognized with the Municipal Clerk's Honor Roll from General Code. So congratulations to her this evening.
Yes,
That concludes staff reports.
congratulations. All right, we have no committee reports this evening, so we'll move to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to dispose of the consent agenda? Councilmember Townsend?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, sorry, brain had to catch up to me. I move that we approve City Council meeting minutes for June the 12th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Thank you, sir. There's been a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Ingert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
All right, the consent agenda passes unanimously, so we'll move on to unfinished business. Will you please read Bill 3816 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3816 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, approving the Madison Valley Third Final Plat, a subdivision of land located in the southeast quarter of Section 9, Township 46 North, Range 32 West, Raymore, Cass County, Missouri.
Thank you. If there are no further questions, do we have a motion to dispose of this item?
Yes, I move we approve the second reading of Bill 3816.
Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve Bill 3816. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Ingert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3816 passes unanimously. That takes us to item B on unfinished business. Will you please read Bill 3815 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3815 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, annexing property described as Lot 5 of Willow Hills subdivision, Section 10, Township 46 North, Range 32 West, Cass County, Missouri, and belonging to Ron and Eileen Stevick pursuant to Section 71.014 of the revised statutes of the state of Missouri.
If there are no further questions, do I have a motion to dispose of this item?
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve Bill 3815. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Ingert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3815 passes unanimously. That takes us to item C. Will you please read Bill 3817 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3817 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Olson Studio for the provision of professional services related to the city's comprehensive plan update in the amount of $55,000, and authorizing the city manager to approve change orders within established budget constraints.
If there are no questions, can I have a motion to dispose of this item?
Yes, I move we approve the second reading of Bill 3817.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
There's a motion and a second to approve Bill 3817. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Ingert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3817 passes. Moving on to item D, can we have the reading of Bill 3818 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3818 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending the FY 2023 budget and updating the schedule of fees for residential trash and recycling services.
If there are no further questions, do I have a motion to dispose of this item?
Yes, I move that we approve the second reading of Bill 3818.
Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second to approve Bill 3818. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Ingert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3818 passes, taking us to item E. Can we have the reading of Bill 3798 by title only?
The second reading of Bill 3798 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, establishing an intergovernmental agreement with the Raymore Peculiar School District to provide school resource officer services for schools in Raymore and as requested at East Middle School.
If there are no further questions, do I have a motion to dispose of this item?
Yes, I move that we approve the second reading of Bill 3798.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I will second this motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second to approve. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3798 passes. That takes us to new business. Can we have yes. So do we need to read it?
Yes.
Yes. Can we have the first reading?
Read it and continue it. I'm going to speak for continuance. Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Can we have the first reading of Bill 3819, please?
The first reading of Bill 3819 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, vacating portions of the side and rear yard utility easements located on Lot 412 in the Westbrook at Creekmore 15th Plat for the purposes of replatting Lot 412, Westbrook 15th Plat, Raymore, Cass County, Missouri.
Thank you. Open the public hearing tonight?
Do not open public hearing.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
As explained by Mr. Gress during staff reports, we need to continue this item. Is there a motion to continue Bill 3819 to the July 10th, 2023 meeting?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second the motion, Your Honor.
There's a motion and a second to continue this item to the July 10th meeting. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3819 will be continued to the July 10th, 2023 meeting. Item B, similar situation. Can we have the first reading of Bill 3820?
The first reading of Bill 3820 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, vacating an existing 25-foot rear yard utility easement located on Lot 415 in the Westbrook at Creekmore 15th Plat for the purposes of replatting Lot 415, Westbrook 15th Plat, Raymore, Cass County, Missouri.
Again, as explained by Mr. Gress during the staff reports, this item needs to be continued. Is there a motion to continue Bill 3820 to our July 10th, 2023 meeting?
Yes, so moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second the motion, Your Honor.
There's been a motion and a second to continue this until July 10th. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
Bill 3820 will be continued to the July 10th, 2023 meeting. That takes us to item C in new business, the Grant Park Villas final plat. Can we have the first reading of Bill 3821, please?
The first reading of Bill 3821 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, approving the Grant Park Villas final plat, a subdivision of land located in the northwest quarter of Section 15, Township 46 North, Range 32 West, Raymore, Cass County, Missouri.
Is there a staff report?
Thank you. I will ask Mr. Gress to make a staff report on this agenda item.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Pro Tem and Council, the request before you this evening is a final plat request for the Grant Park Villas project, a single lot development located between 58 Highway and Grant Drive on the east side of North Adams Street. It'll allow for the development of a proposed 48-unit apartment community by the applicant, Zimmerman Properties LLC. At their June 20th meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend 8-0 to recommend approval of this final plat request. At that same meeting, they also voted 8-0 to recommend approval of the site plan and did approve the site plan at their meeting that evening. That will conclude staff report on this item.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? All right, if there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3821.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, move that we approve the first reading of Bill 3826, award of contract.
21?
I'm sorry, 3821, Grant Villas, final plat.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am. I will second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? There's no further discussion. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
The first reading of Bill 3821 passes. Next, item D, award of contract to Constable Sanitation. Can we have the first reading of Bill 3826 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3826 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an amended agreement with Constable Sanitation to provide waste disposal services for the City of Raymore, Missouri.
Can we have a staff report?
Thank you. I would ask Mr. Murdock to make a staff report on this agenda item.
Good evening, Madam Pro Tem and members of the council. This kind of dovetails on the last meeting's CPI increase for Constable Sanitation. What you have in 3826 is the amended contract. That contract, the original contract with Constable Sanitation, expires in July. We are recommending approval of a 3-year contract with 2 one-year renewals for a total of 5 years of a possible contract here with Constable Sanitation. The other highlights with this would be the contract remains relatively the same, obviously, as the first one. Rate increases are still based on the CPI, the Consumer Price Indexed for solid waste. And then we would continue to bring each year those annual bills to you if there is going to be an increase. So you would continue to see those in June just like you have in previous years. George Constable is here if you have any questions related to this contract, but staff does recommend approval.
Any questions of staff? If there are no questions, I will entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3826.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem? Yes, I move that we approve the first reading of Bill 3826, award of contract to Constable Sanitation.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Mr. Holman?
There's an old adage in baseball or sports that the best officiating job is one that is never seen and no one ever comments on. As you'll notice, the chambers are empty tonight and we have no letters in front of us. That speaks volumes about the service that you do, sir.
Mr. Barber?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yes, I would like to add on to that and recognize Mr. Constable and his company for being a true partner with the City of Raymore. And you certainly have done a great job and continue to do that and improve. And we appreciate that partnership. Thank you.
100% agree. Any other conversation? All right. We have no further discussion. Then we'll move on to a roll call vote, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Barber?
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent. Councilmember Engert?
Yes.
Councilmember Forster?
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend?
Yes.
Councilmember Holman?
Yes.
Bill 3826 passes on that first read. All right, item E. The next item of business is the MoDOT grant and cost share agreement. In order to receive funds in a timely manner and meet certain deadlines, the mayor has declared this item as an emergency read. Can we have the first reading of Bill 3822 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3822 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into a cost-share agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission under the Governor's Transportation Cost Share Program. To expedite the receipt of funds, the mayor has declared this bill as an emergency.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. I would ask Mr. Gress to make a staff report on this item.
Thank you, sir. The council may recall back in January, our economic development staff was notified that their application to MoDOT under the Governor's Cost Share Program was approved. The city received just shy of $4.1 million to assist with various infrastructure improvements around the Raymore Commerce Center development there at North Cass Parkway and Dean Avenue. The project provides funding for 50% of the cost associated with the Dean Avenue Extension South, which is associated with the Raymore Commerce Center development, as well as improvements to 195th Street, but also provided funding for 50% of the cost of the traffic signal at 58 Highway, North Cass Parkway and Dean Avenue. So this agreement allows the city to receive those funds and begin implementing the project. What the council will see in the coming weeks will be an award of contract for the Dean Avenue signal, which is the city project or component of this project. And then staff is currently working through a reimbursement agreement with Van Trust Real Estate, the developer, to facilitate their 2 components of the project under this agreement. Appreciate the mayor's willingness to make this an emergency reading. We've been working back and forth with MoDOT for a few weeks to answer various questions about the implementation of the grant so that we're doing it correctly. And so we're happy to present this agreement to the council this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? There are no questions. I will entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3822.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem? Yes, I move that we approve Bill 3822, Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission Governor's Cost Share Agreement.
Is there a second?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I will second the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, no further discussion. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
The first reading of Bill 3822 passes. This item has been declared as an emergency, and so I would ask the clerk for the second reading of Bill 3822 in its entirety.
The second reading of Bill 3822 in its entirety, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into a cost-share agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission under the Governor's Transportation Cost Share Program. To expedite the receipt of funds, the mayor has declared this bill as an emergency. Whereas pursuant to Section 4.445 of truly agreed to and finally passed House Bill 3004 from the 2022 legislative session, the Missouri General Assembly has appropriated $75 million in general revenue funds to the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission, the Commission, to be expended for a road and bridge projects under the Governor's Transportation Cost Share Program, the program. And whereas the city applied to the Commission to participate in the program to assist in the infrastructure improvements related to the Raymore Commerce Center and Raymore Commerce Center South developments, and whereas on January 4, 2023, the Commission approved the city's application to the program for a proposed road and bridge improvement project off the state highway system and awarded the city $4,094,666, equal to 50% of the estimated construction costs associated with the infrastructure improvements. And whereas the Commission will administer these program funds to the City of Raymore with the understanding that such funds will be used for the purpose of funding the City of Raymore's proposed project as further described within this agreement. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Raymore, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the mayor is hereby authorized and directed to enter into the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission's Governor's Transportation Cost Share Agreement. Attached hereto is Exhibit A. Section 2, the mayor and city clerk are authorized to administer the cost share agreement and effectuate the terms of the agreement. Section 3, emergency reading. Due to the need to finalize the intergovernmental agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission to begin the project, the mayor has authorized this as an emergency reading. Section 4, effective date. The effective date of approval of this ordinance shall be coincidental with the mayor's signature and attestation by the city clerk. Section 5, severability. If any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion of this ordinance is for any reason held invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions thereof. Duly read the first time this 26th day of June 2023, be it remembered that the above ordinance was approved and adopted this 26th day of June 2023 by the following vote.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on this item? I'll just take a moment and thank staff for, I know grants, I do grants, I know grants are a lot of work, and for us to be able to get $4 million to help fund this project, I think is amazing. And I know even once you get that grant, there's a lot of work to go through all the steps. So just kudos to staff for reaching out and then, of course, doing the rest of the work behind the project. If there's no further discussion, we'll have a roll call vote.
Madam Chair,
Oh, sorry.
I don't believe you've got a motion and a second on this yet.
Oh, I apologize. All right, I would entertain a motion to dispose of the second reading of Bill 3822.
Yes, so moved.
Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Very good. Now we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we're ready for that roll call vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
The second reading of Bill 3822 passes. Our next item is item F, award of contract for Axon Tasers body and in-car camera systems. And
Again, in order to receive maximum government discount and expedite delivery of materials, the mayor has declared this item as an emergency. So we'll start with the first reading of Bill 3824 by title only, please.
The first reading of Bill 3824 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Axon for the purchase and installation of TASER, body-worn, and in-car camera systems in the amount of $345,300, and to approve change orders within established budget constraints. To expedite delivery and maximize the discounts offered, the mayor has declared this bill as an emergency.
Thank you. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Madam. The council has had 2 work sessions to discuss issues with our current body camera and in-car camera systems. Because of these issues, because of the issues with these systems, along with the fact that the police department's current tasers have reached the end of their useful life, staff is recommending that we move to a comprehensive 5-year payment program for both body cameras and in-car cameras, as well as the new tasers provided by Axon with this contract. Through research and test wear, staff believes that moving to Axon will give the city reliability and consistency. It'll give the officers the confidence that the equipment is recovering the information and evidence. Axon products can be purchased as part of a sole source government contract, number 3544-214615. Staff has reviewed the price submitted by Axon in the amount of $69,060 annually for 5 years for a total amount of $345,300 and recommends contract approval. As stated by the Mayor Pro Tem, to expedite delivery and maximize the discounts offered, the mayor has declared this bill as an emergency, and we thank him for that. That concludes staff report.
Any questions of staff?
I have
Mr. Holman?
something you mentioned. I don't think it's the same, but shortly after you became city manager, you made us aware that if other governmental entities had received a contract price, we could piggyback off that contract price. Is that the same thing that we're talking about here, or is this a different?
That is exactly.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions? All right, I will entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3824.
Madam Pro Tem, I move that we approve the first reading of Bill 3824, award of contract to Axon Tasers, body, and in-car camera systems.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second to approve Bill 3824. Is there further discussion? If there's no further discussion, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad?
Yes.
Councilmember Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Barber?
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent. Councilmember Engert?
Yes.
Councilmember Forster?
Yes.
Councilmember Holman?
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend?
Yes.
The first reading of Bill 3824 passes. This item has been declared as an emergency, and so I would ask the city clerk for the second reading of Bill 3824 in its entirety after you take a drink of water.
The second reading of Bill 3824 in its entirety, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Axon for the purchase and installation of TASER, body-worn, and in-car camera systems in the amount of $345,300, and to approve change orders within established budget constraints. To expedite delivery and maximize the discounts offered, the mayor has declared this bill as an emergency. Whereas, in accordance with the City of Raymore purchasing policy, the purchase of TASER, body-worn, and in-car camera systems from Axon is recognized as a sole source purchase, and whereas city staff recommends the purchase and installation of body-worn and in-car cameras with Axon. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Raymore, Missouri as follows. Section 1, the city manager is hereby directed to enter into an agreement attached as Exhibit A with Axon for the purchase and installation of TASERs, body-worn, and in-car cameras. Section 2, emergency reading. In order to expedite delivery and maximize discounts offered by Axon, the mayor has authorized this as an emergency reading. Section 3, effective date. The effective date of approval of this ordinance shall be coincidental with the mayor's signature and attestation by the city clerk. Section 4, severability. If any section, subsection, sentence, clause, phrase, or portion of this ordinance is for any reason held invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions thereof. Duly read the first time this 26th day of June 2023. Be it remembered that the above ordinance was approved and adopted this 26th day of June 2023 by the following vote.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion to dispose of Bill 3824.
Yes, Madam Chair, so moved.
Thank you. And is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Very good. Is there any further discussion on this item? If not, we have a motion and a second for Bill 3824. Can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent. Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
The second reading of Bill 3824 passes. Item G, amending the City Code of Chapter 610, Peddlers, Solicitors, and Canvassers. Can we have the first reading of Bill 3827 by title only?
The first reading of Bill 3827 by title only, an ordinance of the City of Raymore, Missouri, amending Chapter 610 of the Raymore City Code of Ordinances.
Staff report, please.
Thank you, Madam. I would ask Mr. Zur to make a staff report on this agenda item.
Thank you, Mr. Fairborn, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. What you have before you this evening is very similar to what we presented in work session last week. I've updated it according to comments and suggestions made by members of the council. This will basically itemize out and identify separate entities as peddlers, solicitors, and canvassers, giving each one of them provisions within the terms of the code as to when they can conduct business in the city, the requirements for an application and ID to be approved, and for that application ID to be displayed the entire time that they're working within the city. That would conclude my staff report. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, if there are no questions, I will entertain a motion to dispose of the first reading of Bill 3827.
Yes, Madam Mayor Pro Tem, I move that we approve the first reading of Bill 3827, amending the City Code, Chapter 610, Peddlers, Solicitors, and Canvassers.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Yes, ma'am, I will second the motion.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, can we have a roll call vote?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke, absent. Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.
The first reading of Bill 3827 passes. That takes us to public comments. If there's any member of the public who wishes to make a comment, please identify yourself for the record and keep the comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. Seeing no one coming forward, we will move to mayor and council communication. We'll start with Councilmember Barber.
Did you say me?
I did.
Okay. Remember, I'm hard of hearing. Great job tonight, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you for running our meeting. I just had a couple of things. Don't know, we kind of, it wasn't a lot of question or discussion, but we had a voluntary annexation. I want to welcome Ron Stevick to the city of Raymore. It's been many years this house has kind of sat on an island and not been part of Raymore. I know that's your ward, but welcome him and his wife to the city of Raymore. Congratulations, Ms. Hill, for your award. I guess your the award we gave you is we had 2 emergency reads tonight that you had to do, but great job, so thank you.
Councilmember Holman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a couple of items. I will not be here on July 24th. I will be out of state and probably unable to attend virtually, so I just will have to miss that meeting. Job well done to you this evening for covering for the mayor. It maybe wasn't the hardest, but those emergency reads and running through and remember whether we did a motion or not kind of gets a little difficult at times, and you did a good job tonight. Congratulations to Erica on her city clerk honor roll achievement. That's quite a deal. The professionalism of our staff continues to amaze me week after week, sir. I know that you have been a big proponent of professionalism and continuing professional development, and it shows. We routinely hear about all people in the city. I know that Mr. Crass implemented that even with the field laborers, and they took to that and we changed job descriptions. That's the mark of true professionalism. Well done, everybody, on that one. I would challenge Mr. Mustine and the Parks Board. I thought that the Mayor Pro Tem brought up a valid point. The city of Raymore for years has not had a 4th of July celebration. They used to have a Community Days celebration, which lasted decades. They're now having a celebration which mirrors and in some facets may compete with ours. I know we don't have any specific metrics. We don't truly measure the crowd. I know we've sent the drone up a couple of times and done estimates, but I would challenge you in your debrief or after action report to see if there are any differences this year. Now, that could be attributed to any number of things, the weather, that kind of stuff. But with another city so close doing theirs exactly at the same time, I would be interested to see. We know we have a number of people from out of town that show up here for our event because we do such a good job. I'm curious to see if we notice at least any change from that, sir. I would echo the Mayor Pro Tem's comments. Anytime staff works hard and gets over $4 million brought back to this city for public transportation and public safety improvements, making our transportation network safer, smoother, and improving traffic efficiency is tremendous. None of them make $4 million. That's money they're returning to us to make your quality of life better. Very well done, sir. Everybody involved in that process. And then well done to staff. Just across the board, things are going very well. We couldn't live in a better city. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Councilmember Engert?
Just very briefly, congratulations, Erica. It's quite a well-deserved award. You should get many more with all the hard work and effort that you put in. I'd also like to thank Mr. Murdoch and Erica as well for getting me set up on the Zoom meeting so I could participate tonight from 465 miles away. And then finally, I have just one short story. You have to promise to keep this among ourselves. But they had a community-wide breakfast yesterday for the dealership that my uncle owned. And 443 people showed up for this community breakfast. There was an elderly lady there that came over to talk with me as I was helping with the breakfast. And she extended her hand to me and said she wanted to express her condolences to me for the loss of my brother. And I thought, I think I should go buy some hair dye. So anyway, short story, keep it among ourselves. Thanks for setting all this up for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. First, I'd like to echo the sentiments as far as congratulations to Ms. Hill for the award. Excellent job. Job well done on that. I also received a call today from one of the Ward 1 residents about something else, but it got brought up about the Sounds of Kansas, South Kansas City band performance. Excellent job to all of you who put that together. This person said there was a lot of people there. She moved herself to donate to the band. I guess a lot of students were in that. So had a really good time and looking forward to the next one coming up. Lastly, kind of in response to the heat and the weather coming up, as good community citizens and maybe to those going out who may be watching or passing on to friends and family, Thursday it's forecast to be 100 degrees, the hottest day of the year yet. We need to look after each other, especially the elderly people in our community, in our neighborhoods, in our subdivisions, cul-de-sacs, or whatever. I have several who live around me that I'll be reaching out to, or my wife will, just to make sure everything's okay, air conditioning's working, all that, because I think some people just try and stick it out, and when it gets that hot, it can get dangerous real quick. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Good point. Thank you, sir. Councilmember Townsend?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd also like to echo the comments of my council colleagues and also follow in Mr. Baker's footsteps with the public service announcement that I do each year with respect to our veterans as we enter into this 4th of July season and we celebrate with a bang. Also remember and respect some of our veterans who have given so much for us to be able to do that. Sometimes those things can be a little nervous, can trigger some PTSD situations. So if you could remember those in your communities that you may have as neighbors who have served, watch out for them, give them some solitude somewhere, give them, an Airbnb somewhere that they can go and enjoy, some quiet time. But definitely, as you're celebrating this year and each year, remember those veterans who have given all to allow us to have that freedom to be able to do that and find some ways that they can have some quiet and some solitude in this time of the year. So again, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Forrester.
Thank you. Agree with everybody else. Great job. And with all of staff with getting the money, because that saves our residents money as well, and getting the roads, which everybody wants more of the traffic to lighten up. So having more of that brought in is great. And I also wanted to bring up about the celebration on Friday, that to our residents and all of our constituents, please be considerate of others. Parking is always complicated. If you can walk, that's great. If not, carpool. That way it makes it a little bit easier on the staff. And also just remember that it is going to be hot, so if you can bring water, make it, again, easier and not go to that command center. If you want to check it out, you're welcome to check it out, but not for that reason. So I'm grateful, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Very good.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. I have one quick public service announcement as well. A reminder, clean up after yourselves
Yes.
as well. I'm sure the Public Works would appreciate it, but the fallout from the 4th of July weekend is pretty aggressive. So if you would please, clean up after yourselves. Thank you.
Very good. With that, I have a quick question. What's the timeline for when residents can shoot fireworks? I see Ms. Harmer coming up.
It is a full-page ad in the issue of the review that just came out. Saturday, July 1st, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, July 2nd, noon to 10 p.m. Monday, July 3rd, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And Tuesday, July 4th, 10 a.m. to midnight.
Thank you, ma'am. So actually, the night of Spirit of America, June 30th, we
Special
shouldn't
permission from the council is what made that possible.
make it possible for city.
You know what you see around the park, but officially, legally, July 1st through 4th.
Very good. Thank you. I thought that might be a good reminder for people. So please join us for the Spirit of America on June 30th at 7 o'clock at Rec Park. And that's all I have. Do we have a reason to go into executive session?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion to adjourn in that case.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I will second the motion, Your Honor.
Thank you. Can we have a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Abdelgawad,
Yes.
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Barber,
Yes.
Councilmember Burke absent, Councilmember Engert,
Yes.
Councilmember Forster,
Yes.
Councilmember Holman,
Yes.
Councilmember Townsend.
Yes.